you answer that. That's so cool. He's been in one of the pioneering companies in the space, LAYAR, which has been around for several years now, he's been the CTO. So please join me in welcoming Dirk.
Thanks for having me. Trying to connect my phone to the Wi-Fi as well. Okay. I'm gonna do some brief introduction to the technology behind LAYAR and show you a demonstration of how it works. And the last thing is I want to talk a little bit about LAYAR and Google Glass. So basically, in terms of technology, we started off being a platform, building everything in terms of APIs. So I briefly put up a slide about how we build stuff at LAYAR. Basically, we reuse things that we find around and try to make them, reuse them in a way that makes sense and makes it easy for people to use and to create their own content. We build everything flexible, everything scalable, and everything we build are small components, and we actually use our own APIs internally that we can then publicize externally. So basically everything is in terms of APIs. So for people who've used LAYAR in the past, you probably know that we have APIs. You can host your own content for LAYAR, and you can serve content as if it's a web server, a web service, and using our APIs it will serve the content into the client. Lately we've created a tool to make it even more easy to create content for AR, which is the LAYAR Creator. It's an online tool on the web, layar.com/creator, where you can just drag and drop content that will then work in LAYAR. And I'm going to show you how that works. There's one little addition that we added a couple of weeks ago, which makes it possible for those of you who know the API very well and that know the language that LAYAR understands, which is JSON, that describes all the objects on the scene. You can actually use that now inside of the creator to actually customize a lot of stuff that would be a little bit difficult to do with drag and drop, or otherwise we'd have to create an interface like PowerPoint to add animations and rotations and all those kind of things. So we've just added a little tool that lets you do some JSON inside the creator itself. So let me show you quickly the LAYAR Creator. I've started a little thing this morning. I needed some content that I wanted to augment, so I decided, there's a network missing. Let's refresh. Yeah, there we go. So, I was visiting New York. I bought this book, Time Out, and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this book would have all the links to these tabs that you have on the right about shopping and eating, drinking, stuff like that, directly to the web. So basically, I added these first two buttons like shopping, sites and museums. These are very simple buttons, which I can show you here. So this is the button shopping. It will link to the timeout page for the shopping of timeout. And if you actually scan this with LAYAR, you will actually see these buttons. So I'm going to show you that very quickly. Let's put the mic here. Here we are. So here's my phone. So I'm scanning the cover, I'm getting the content, and here are my two buttons that I added before. So if you click one of those buttons, I'm now clicking the shopping. As you can see, I'm going to the website. Here you are, the website of Time Out Shopping. in New York. Now, what I don't like about this website is not for mobile. I searched the entire timeout website. They don't have a mobile site for New York. They have it for Barcelona, but for some reason they don't have it for New York. So, one thing I want to do is to make this a little bit smaller. There you are. I'm going to let people download the app for Timeout. So here's the website of Timeout. And down here you have the link, which I'm just going to copy. And then I'm going to paste. I'm just going to do it for iOS for now. And there's some stuff. I'm doing live demo now. Hopefully it works. Save the page. There we are. And switch back to reflection so you can see what's happening. And here's the button to download the app to Timeout. So click on it. I can download the app. Now I can see everything in and out. That's how easy it is to make content for AR. And for those of you who really are into AR, that went wrong. Let me go back to that campaign. So for those of you who you know that LAYAR also supports 3D and all kinds of other AR. So what I did, and this is again just using the creator, I actually added the new Freedom Tower on top of the map at its location here. And just to explain to you, if you know the LAYAR API, you know you can do that. You can actually create a 3D model, you can host it, and you can put it on top of a reference image. If you want to do that using the creator, that is possible now. And I'll quickly show you. I've got the page here, and we've got this new advanced button here that's called Hotspot JSON. So basically, it lets you just plug in the content using JSON. And here I'm saying that the object is this tower.l3d object that I've hosted somewhere on the internet. It's just on Amazon S3. It's just put in a bucket, and so it will be hosted there. I'm saying that the type of content type is L3D, and then I'm placing the object using rotation, scale, axis. And as you saw, I was able to show you the tower on the map. Now, the tower was pretty big, so just to show you that this is something you can change live, and it wasn't at exactly the right location. I'm just changing the scale a little bit so that it will be placed at the right location. And I'll show you quickly. Okay. There we are. Change the scale, and it's now in the right position on the map. And I could put more buildings on the map this way. So that was the brief introduction in the LAYAR creator and what you can do with it. So I'll switch back to the presentation. And I'll very briefly tell you what we've done with Glass. Because the interesting thing is, obviously everybody's talking about Eyewear. We've had a talk from Paul about Eyewear. Obviously everybody's talking as well about the Eyewear from Google, which is Google Glass. Everybody who's in this room will probably know it's not AR. But a lot of people have been asking us, okay, LAYAR, what are you doing with that kind of technology? What are you doing with glass? So we got our hands on one. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it here. The reason is that I prefer my engineers to be working on it and to be trying to finish all the demos that we want to do with it, rather than me having it for a week and waving it around in New York. So we tried three things. Run LAYAR directly on glass by routing the device, obviously voiding the warranty. We did that, and we looked at what happened. Using the Mirror API, as Paul mentioned before, is the thing that Google offers you officially, and then make a special version for glass, again, routing, making an APK that runs runtime. So run as an APK. Google Glass, if you root it, is actually also an Android device. And I'm pretty sure that we can run LAYAR as is on the M100. We can run it on glass. That's the good news. The bad news is, because it's not AR, you're pointing your camera at something by looking at something, and at the same time you have this little screen up here that's actually showing you what's on the camera and that you have to look at. So for example, if you're looking at this book, as I was showing you, you can't look at the book, you have to look at your little screen that's floating on top of you to see what's happening. It's very difficult to kind of look at the screen and point your glasses at the right place. So that's all the time what you're doing. You're looking up, and at the same time you're doing like this, and you look very strange. And it's really not AR, but it does work. So glass is not for AR. So before I tell you about the other solutions and what we could do with LAYAR and those type of glasses that are not real AR, I need to explain a little bit about how LAYAR works. When I upload the little map of New York that comes from the book, on our servers,